How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. And yeah, so I went to see Nosferatu last night, as the title suggests. I guess this isn't really a movie review; it's more my initial thoughts. Normally, if I'll give you a review, I want to have some sort of a presentation for you. I'll give you a load of background and I'll have something a bit more planned out. But yeah, I went to see it with my best friend and my son, and I come out really unimpressed, and I was being argued with basically. And I've watched a few reviews this morning, and I'm just sat here thinking, is it just me? So yeah, I'm just gonna have a bit of a rant really, and put it out there and see what you think. So I don't know. I feel when I talk to friends and whatnot, that I'm just this impossible to please sort of cynical movie viewer, and I'm really not. Like, I went to see this film last night, genuinely excited. I was really looking forward to it. I was hyped, and I normally am in these instances as well. Like, some of the films I hate the most are the ones I was most excited to see. I'm certainly not going to waste my money looking at watching a film that I don't think I'm going to like anyway. But anyway, so my eldest son is really getting into his horror films now. He's becoming a horror nerd, and it's all good to watch. And he's bugging me to buy him posters, like classic posters on eBay and stuff like that. Anyway, so it was him that says to me originally, they're remaking Nosferatu, and I was like, yeah, that's what we need, isn't it? Another remake. And it was him that then mentioned, it's directed by Robert Eggers, and The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. And I've not actually seen The Northman yet, for my sins, forgive me. But I know I'm well aware it's good. I've got it on DVD, I just haven't got around to watching it. But I did like The Witch, and I recently watched The Lighthouse. Again, that was another one that passed me by. I kept meaning to watch it, but never got around to it. So I made an effort to watch it ahead of this. And I like Robert Eggers, and I think him and I forget the guy's name now. The guy that did Hereditary and Midsummer. I mean, I think horror is in another golden age at the moment. I think horror as a genre is the only genre left where you can genuinely be creative, and new talent is coming up, and it seems to be the only genre at the moment where new talent can organically create as it you know establishes itself. And some of the best films at the moment are being made by first time directors, so I'm not being but so with the release date coming close, I said to my son, look, you got to do your homework here. You're into your horror and that, so I think you should watch the original. And luckily, it was on one of the streaming services. I don't know what ones they signed up to. My wife handles all that, but yeah, there it was. So I made him sit through this silent film. I was like, this is 100 years old, and I told him the a lot of people went through a lot of crap to preserve this film just so you can watch it. So, and you want to watch the remake, let's watch this. And there's some shots in that are generally, they just look awesome even today. Excuse me. So then we watched the 70s one with Klaus Kinski playing it, and that was a pretty cool take. I don't know what it says about me, but I found the Count Orlok in the Klaus Kinski version to be quite likable. I think until the Jonathan Harker character cuts his thumb, and then he gets a bit weird. Up until that point, he seemed like quite a nice, chatty kind of guy. I'd have quite happily sat there all night drinking wine with him. But I mean, I know the ending to that one, I think, dropped the ball a little bit when the guy becomes a vampire, and then he's like, the last shot is him sort of darting across a field on a horse, and it's like, It's daylight. You kind of messed up there, didn't you? But anyway, so yeah, I was, and I do genuinely like The Witch. I was looking forward to watching this film. I just want to put that across. I was hyped, and it was just, I don't know. And I'm watching all these reviews this morning. They're all making it out to be a masterpiece, and I just can't help but feel this is going to be like The Force Awakens, when everyone was, screaming from the rooftops how good it was, and then that film is just aged like bread. And right, it's got its stuff going for it. It weren't terrible, don't get me wrong, but right, the lust side of things, shall we say, I felt was very unnecessary and over the top. Some of it, the Mina character, I think she's Ellen. This is the thing, right? It says quite the closing credits, based on the 1922 film Nosferatu and the book Bram Stoker's Dracula by Bram Stoker. Now, Nosferatu, the original, is an adaptation of Dracula. They just changed the names and they tweak the story somewhat. And it's kind of become its own thing. Like, it actually added to the vampire lore that a vampire is destroyed by sunlight. That never happened until Nosferatu. And I like the fact that Ellen sacrifices herself at the end. That was another good twist on it. She lures him into the daylight, basically, but has to die. She dies in the process, but she knew that was going to happen. Yeah, it was... And I like that, he kind of personifies the plague. He doesn't just make other people vampires. With him is death, but people mistake it for the plague. So, although it is an adaptation, it becomes its own thing. But this is now based on both. And this is I found the problem with the film. It was like, right, so this is a faithful... Is this a faithful representation? Like, we're going back to the beginning... So it's a faithful adaptation of Dracula, or is it an adaptation of Nosferatu? And it keeps like two magnets closing together. It becomes one when something goes wrong. It goes, oh yeah, but it's meant to be Dracula. Well, it hasn't quite got that right, has it? Oh, but it's meant to be Nosferatu. Like, do you remember The Thing when they rebooted, but it was a prequel but a remake of The Thing? And it was like, yeah, but this isn't quite right. Oh, but it's meant to be a remake. Okay, well, if it's a remake, but it's a prequel. And it's like, yeah, but it's not either then, is it? It's not, and I felt that's what the problem was with this. So, obviously, there's the psychic connection between Dracula or Count Orlok and Ellen or Mina. With this, they made it like a possession. Like, there's scenes this generally looks like an exorcism film, and again, not necessary, totally over the top. I felt William Dafoe as the Van Helsing character. Now, again, Van Helsing was kind of like a quirky character anyway. He was like eccentric. So as an actor, I guess you could kind of take the gloves off in playing that character anyway. There's a lot you could do with it to explore that character. But again, I just felt William Dafoe was just reenacting what he was doing in the lighthouse. Again, it was really good up to a point, but there was one scene at the end, towards the end, which I thought was a bit, again, OTT. I don't like how Count Orlok looked. A load of people are freaking out about it. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. And I can see how he would have looked at one point, but again, you're meant to be doing the Dracula adaptation. Well, Dracula becomes younger later on. So if he'd looked like that at the beginning and then made him look young, like they changed him halfway through, that would have probably have been better. But to me, he just looked like... Do you remember that CGI version of Beowulf? what's the monster's name in Beowulf? I should know this. Grendel. Do you remember the CGI version of Beowulf? He looks like Grendel with a moustache. It just looks. And I know Dracula has a moustache in the book. You know, I get that, but he could have looked. I don't know. He looks like just this like this weird goblin thing. That's like a rotting corpse. But yeah, it just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. Right, visually, then everyone's like, "Oh, it's visually, it looks amazing." This is like, so what? You know, music videos look visually. Yeah, it looked good. It had the whole gothic thing, and there's some genuinely cool shots. Don't get me wrong. At the end as well, where there was a thing of the shadows and the hand and all the rest of it. Yeah, but you had that in the original. You had that in Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1992. For God's sake, is the bar just so low nowadays that people are so easy to please? Like, you know, oh, it looks really, yeah, but with the budget it had, it fucking should have, you know. And I don't know. I just didn't like it. The more I think of it, and I don't know what it is as well, but there was too much emphasis on dribbling. Like, seriously, all the way through the film, everyone was just dribbling. Like, I don't know what that was all about either. When Mina's with things, she's just constantly just got spit dripping from her mouth all the time. And then, what's his name? From About a Boy. He's playing the Jonathan Harker character. There's a bit where he's crying and he's kissing Mina's hand. And it's just like just gunk coming from his mouth as he kisses her hand and pulls away. And then he does it, he kisses her again, pulls away again. And it's just like, what is with the dribble, folks? Yeah, I found... I think it just would have been so much better if they just backed off and just let the tale tell itself, you know? There was... I know there's always been innuendo and a bit... Not innuendo, but a bit of subtle hints at certain things with the Dracula or vampire lore. There's an erotic undertone with it all. I get that. But let that just be there. It didn't need to be spelt out the whole time. And yeah, I found it over dramatic in places, over the top, overemphasized, and it was too bloody long. It didn't need to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, easily 12. They could have cut 12 minutes off it. It really did drag on and didn't need to. And I worry about Robert Eggers because he's clearly a talented guy and he's got a good record so far. And I just feel, was this a little overindulgent? Has he reached that stage already where he's sniffing his own farts? I don't know. Is he got to that point now where they're like, oh well, he's obviously a genius, so no one can rein him in. Are we at that point now with him? I'm not sure. But yeah, and I mean, I don't think I was worried at first as well because I thought, oh, is he going to be? Now he's done this, and this has clearly been a success already. Is he now going to get? Because they're going to get Robert Eggers to remake this and remake that. I keep hearing this now, and it's like, oh, is he going to be trapped in remake hell? But I think he's better doing original works. But apparently this has been in the works for 10 years now, so that's probably not the case. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but there was stuff with it that put me off. So, and I'm looking at reviews this morning, and it's like, no, it's brilliant. It's a masterpiece. So maybe I'm in the it looks like I'm in the minority here, but I wonder how fit. I think it's going to be one of these like Alien Romulus or something like that. Like everyone's going to come out of the cinema going, "Oh, it was brilliant," and then it's just instantly forgettable. I wonder if this is, the original Nosferatu's 100 years old now. We're still talking about it. It's deemed worthy of a remake, but I still think that original version's the one that's still going to go on in history. I could just see this one just being another version that's referenced. And it would just be in the canon, really. But I can't see it being at the forefront. That's just my take, though. Over time, maybe I'll warm to it. I find with a lot of these modern horror films now, they do take more than one viewing, and there's a lot of subtle stuff going on that comes to the forefront after repeated viewings. I'm open to that. But yeah, this fell flat for me. So let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you later.